Welcome everyone, my name is Taryn and I'm from Lincoln Center. Today we will be exploring three-dimensional paper weaving. For this project, you will need paper. You can use new paper or you could repurpose paper for our project. You will need something to cut the paper. You could use scissors or you could crease the paper and tear it with your hands. You'll need something that makes a mark. I'm going to use a pen, but you could use a crayon or a pencil. And one thing that's optional for this project is a bit of glue. If you have it, great, gather it, we can use it. There's one step that you might want to use it. If you don't have it, you don't need it. Weaving is a special way of crisscrossing lines so that they stick together.
We call the up and down lines the warp, and the back and forth lines are called weft.
When something is flat, we call that two-dimensional. When something pops up into space, we call that three-dimensional. 2D is flat, 3D pops up. We're going to be working on 3D. First, we will cut a warp. Then we will cut some paper strips. After that, we'll weave the strips into the warp to make a 2D mat. And then we'll pop it up into space by adding a few more paper strips. For my warp, I'm going to use the front part of a large envelope. You can use a small envelope or a magazine page, the front part of a cereal box, whatever paper you have available. We could cut a warp in many different ways, but for ours, we're going to have evenly spaced strips. The way that we do this is by taking our thing that makes a mark and finding the center of the bottom edge of our paper. Make a mark and then measure from there to the edge, and in the center, make another mark. From that mark into the edge, one more mark, and again, find the center between the first two marks. Repeat this on the opposite side. Center, center, center. These marks show you where to cut your strips. Very important with your warp is to not cut all the way through your paper. You want to leave your strips attached to each other, like this. This is a warp that I already cut. So now I need my paper strips to weave across it for my weft. I'm going to use a piece of treasure mail. This is not junk mail. It's so great on the inside. There's really pretty color and a really neat pattern. Some envelopes have colors and patterns on the inside, but if you have white envelopes and want to use those for your weaving, you can color patterns on them, draw lines on them, and use those. For your strips, you want to make them be about the size of a nickel or a quarter. The magic of weaving is going over and under. If you go over, then you have to go under. And if you go under, the next step is going over. So I'm going to start at the top of my warp, going under, then over, under, over, under, then over, under, and ending with over. Since I started underneath here, my first step on my second line of my weft is starting on top. Then under, over, under, over, under, over, and finally under. So this is my warp, this is my weft. I'm going to continue weaving all the way down to the bottom of my warp, so that I end up like this. This is the place where if you have glue, you could use it. Between the two layers in your bottom two corners, you could put a little bit of glue. And that will make it so that your mat doesn't slip. If you don't have glue, that's okay. It might get a little bit slippery, but everything will work out. So now my mat is complete, but it is so flat. This is three-dimensional weaving. We need to pop it up into space. The way that we will do that is by adding a few more paper strips. I found another really cool pattern on the inside of my envelopes. Cut your strips so that they are a little bit thinner than the strips of your mat because they're going to slip under the crisscross. The way that we pop our weaving up into space is slip your strip underneath a crisscross. There we go. Up into space and then under another crisscross. Boom! Your weaving is now three-dimensional. There's so many crisscrosses on this mat that I could slip strips in so many places, but I could also pinch, twist, and loop. What if we explored our mat in 2D and made it even bigger? Or what if we popped up a shape and explored the 3D a little bit more? I wonder how big you could get your mat. I wonder how high you could get your shapes. What other materials could you use for your paper weaving? Are there some that you could explore that aren't even paper? There are so many possibilities. So gather your materials, cut your warp, weave your materials together, and see what happens. Thank you for joining me. My name is Taryn. I'm from Lincoln Center. Exploring paper weaving with you was so much fun. Always remember that you are an artist and make amazing things.